Hey there guys, this is Obsidian Chill. Got another video for today. And I ask consider leaving a like, it helps the channel grow. So let's get into it. Firstly, I'll be announcing the winners. We'll start from 5th place and work our way up to 1st. And then after that, I will be breaking down kind of everything that happened with the contest, my thoughts, and the future for these types of events. So without further ado, let's get the winners. Okay, so as you saw, these were the winners, 1 through 5. And just in terms of the votes, so Croft Manor got 244 votes. In second place, we had number 5, which was Fallen Justice. That had 96 votes. Third place, we had Hell's Manor, which had 39 votes. Fourth place was Cathedral with 28 votes. And fifth place was Promised Land with 11 votes. How I did the vote tallying, everything's here. We had the official poll, which ran the entire time. So the large numbers are from the final poll results. And then the tally 1 marks, these are from the YouTube comments, because some people voted in the YouTube comments and didn't vote on the poll. And then we have the final results. So plenty of people voted for number 5 in the YouTube comments, didn't necessarily vote on the poll itself. And I mean, for the poll, you know, it didn't allow vote through VPN. It didn't allow votes from the same IP address. It had like an anti-spam, anti-CAPTCHA on it. So, I mean, there's plenty of security features in the polls to try to make it as fair as possible. I know that was a concern for some. So in terms of the entries, I had everyone's entries down here. So we had all, 70 altogether? Yeah, 70 entries, 9 on the EU. There's 2 people that didn't add me to their lair. I checked multiple times. They just didn't add it. I had timestamps for the EU video because it was a lot shorter. I wasn't gonna spend an extra 2 hours to timestamp each individual. But as I mentioned before, I do have the full 4.5 hour recording for visiting all the layers. Mentioned the top 5 honorable mentions, ranked 1 through 5. So, I mean, this was as much work as I could put into it to make it as fair as possible. I know a lot of people didn't agree with many aspects of this, but I mean, I'm not sure. You're welcome to leave a comment saying how you would make it any fairer. I mean, if I let judges pick the layers and all that, I mean, what's my purpose here? Just being like a presenter, just and funding it. I mean, that's not really much fun. If I pick like 5 people to say, hey, go pick the winner, here's $150 and go reward it to the winner. I mean, that's not really I'm not really doing anything. And at the same time, people are going to be upset because then they'll say, well, you picked a biased 5 people, or you picked 5 of your friends or something like that. So, I mean, it's a lose-lose in every single situation from some of the people. So, I mean, I can't control that. All I can do is make it as fair as possible, which I thought I did. It was an anonymous poll. No one knew. If someone knew, it would say someone knew it was Caroline's base. I mean, I can't control that. I mean, I have no idea. I've never heard of Hell's Clown 127 or Super Spawn. And I've voted for number 4. That boss room was one of the most unique things I've ever seen. I mean, I've visited plenty of league halls. You guys know in all my guide videos, I do different league halls and different situations. So I see tons of different bases and layers. I consider myself a decorator as well. I mean, in the past, I've kind of gone hardcore into it. I mean, my first base was like a few $1 billion. My second base, I mean, it's even called Billionaire Club. Like, just massive amount of money and time spent on my layers, just making sure it's up to my standards. And I know Caroline. I don't know Fractal Ghost. I know Madra. but some of these players that I've never even heard of had super amazing bases. I mean, everyone voted for number 5. I mean, personally, number 5 isn't my style. Like, that's not the type of layer. Like, if you said, here's unlimited base items, create what you want, that's not my style, what I would do. But I can appreciate the work that went to it, the story, like from room to room that you follow is amazing. Like, the creativity on this guy is through the roof. I mean, Caroline did like a super elegant, classy, layer design, which is something what I can relate to because it's similar to the design I would have done. I mean, Madra did all the multiple base item clipping. You had the cross in the front room. You had the floors. You had the Blood Moon Rising posters, or not the poster, but the windows shining through different base items to create different light effects. I mean, I didn't see any amount of base item clipping as I did in Madra's Lair compared to the others, and that's why obviously I picked it. I mean, Croft Manor was an easy pick, obviously due to its elegance. It was certainly in terms of all the layers that had kind of everything from what you'd expect in a layer contest. It ticked all those boxes, so obviously that was a pick. I mean, number 5, just due to the creativity, that was an obvious pick. I mean, number 4 was my personal choice, obviously because of not only it kind of was it was best of all worlds. It was, if I was going to do like a nature theme, that's how I would do it with like the waterfalls in the front room. I wouldn't have done all those posters because it kind of detracted from the theme. The swamp item ones, the swamp thing ones fit, but like all the Themyscira ones didn't really fit. The boss base rooms in terms of having all the bosses behind those like sorcery walls in terms of different base items, creating the theme within those cages and those prisons. I mean, if the league, I told him, because he was in the comment section, if the league halls had a higher base item limit, I would do that exact same design. It was perfect. And I know Fallen Super Spawn had also something similar in terms of it, in terms of like the Superman villains, not as like in type of rooms, but same kind of concept. And then same thing, Cathedral with Fractal Ghost, that was kind of similar to Caroline's in terms of like having nature, elegance, all that kind of stuff. So that's my reasoning for the top 5. Now, getting into where everyone thought it was going to be, decorating Bruce Wayne's house. I mean, in my original video, I literally said you could do as your heart's desire. There was no theme. I said you could use whatever you wanted, decorate to your heart's content. That's like verbatim. I said heart's content, and there's no theme. And even then, a lot of people that did choose to decorate in terms of like a manor and Bruce Wayne's house, I didn't see any that stood out. I mean, I've done a billionaire club. I've done all the items you think you'd have in like a high class like penthouse in terms of like all like the nice bar items and setup, like all like the iceberg lounge items. Everything like movie. I have a movie theater, all that kind of stuff. Everything that I would put in like a layer for a manor. Like if I would do it, I didn't see anyone do that. All I saw was some of those. They would bought like 3 or 4 of the manor packs off the broker for like the 300 station cash. So I saw multiple base items like that, and those are base items that developers thought you should use to decorate. I mean, we've got access to like thousands of base items. There's so many different things you could do in terms of unique creativity. So just buying 4 or 5 of the packs with all the base items that the developers thought you should use isn't the most creative thing out there. And, I'm not knocking anyone's layer. I'm just saying this was my, this whole contest was my, I'm putting up the money. No one else is. Well, I mean, even as I was going through the layers, I didn't intend it, but I had a couple league mates in Discord and I just streamed it and they would kind of comment on the ones that I went to see. They saw like 80 to 85% of the layers. And then I showed them all the EU ones too that they weren't in there for. So, I mean, I did technically have 2 other people kind of commenting on the layers as I was going through them. So it wasn't just me. But, I mean, it's not like we had arguments in terms of like what bases that we thought. Like we immediately thought like Madra's creativity, the clipping should be up there. We immediately thought Caroline should be up there. We immediately thought like the Hell's Manor and Fallen Justice, etc. So, I mean, we all came to the same conclusion. So, in terms of running something like this in the future, I don't know if I would do another layer theme, and unless like another new layer came out in the future, which I mean, I guess is a possibility, but I guess it ultimately depends on how well the Wayne Manor layer sold in terms of on the developer side, like the marketplace. So if a lot of people bought it, I'm sure they'll do like a Wonder Woman themed one, etc. So I mean, that's a possibility. But I mean, there's no point in me doing like a Brainiac theme, like for the Brainiac Lair one or the Atlantis Lair. You know, there's no point in me doing those because those have been out for a long time. If I was gonna do another contest, I think I would do a league haul, because I've decorated a few league halls. I know a lot of people put like tons of effort into it and creating like huge themes. I'm not a fan of like the league halls having such a low base item limit. I think that's really restrictive. I don't know if they're going to increase that in terms of, I know they've increased like the layer size, but I don't know if they're going to do league haul in terms, because the league haul kind of interferes with more things. Like you still have the league haul content, like lockdown, all that kind of stuff. So that still comes into play in terms of like server stability. So it's not like, I mean, like I'm assuming that could play a factor. But even if they don't, I mean, if I was going to do another contest, it would be the layer one. League haul. I do want to find some other thing that would incorporate more servers, like the Xbox and Switch. I know at least I'm ticking off some of the boxes in terms of I can touch any kind of contest on the EU server and the American server, and I feel like cash prizes are the best way to go, rather than having to worry about figuring out items for both servers, because all the currencies are completely different. So something that's worth a lot of money on the US side is going to be worth like, or something that's worth a lot on the EU side is going to be worth like nothing on the US side. So I mean, there's not really a direct comparison in terms of items. Or if there's something on the US side that's worth a ton that you can't even get on the EU, so it's just not practical. The cash prize is certainly the way to go. And it's more, I mean, I think it's better for you guys as well, having direct cash into your account rather than, you know, worrying about, you know, billions in game or materials or stuff that you're not going to use. So at least it's more practical in terms of real life applications. So there it is. I mean, I'll try to find different ways to kind of involve people in the future. I definitely want to have something that involves the Switch and Xbox. If I did another layer contest, it would have to be, I'd have to have support from MEPS, and have like, you know, kind of side sponsorship. Like this was a lot of effort on my part to do into this in terms of like running the contest, like putting up the videos, gathering all the names. Like people were sending me their layers on like Discord, in-game tells, mail, in-game mail, on the comment section. So I had to go through every single thing, document it to make sure, like I said before, like document every single person, their name, their server. Then I had to go around to each one and view it. I made the mistake of putting it all in my main account, so then it took me like an extra hour to sort through my base item list because I already had like hundreds of bases added to it. So there's definitely things I can improve on, but in terms of the structure, in terms of making it completely fair, I don't see a possibility of making this more fair. Like I don't see how this Wayne Manor Lair contest could be any more fair in terms of I clearly set out the guidelines in the first video, so anyone could watch that and listen. You know, I clearly laid out in terms of the prize pool. I clearly laid out the dates that you have to have your layer submitted by, and you have to add my name. You know, everyone knows the spelling of my name is the exact same on both servers, so it wasn't like complicated from that aspect. There's no special characters. There's not even any spaces. In terms of the voting, I had completely anonymous. So no one knew who the 1 through 5 was unless they personally visited. But I mean, same time, I can't control your league voting for a player. No one can. There's no way to eliminate that. And for the voting, I set up a poll on a third-party website that had security features. So, I mean, in the end, I literally have no idea how to make this more fair. And the experience that I went through, I mean, I already posted about it on my community posts. I mean, this was a shit show from start to finish. I'm glad I can give Caroline that 150. I mean, if MEPS would have helped me on this or sponsor some of it, I could have done like a prize pool maybe with like 1 through 3 or the top 5. But I mean, I can't expand a prize pool that much just on my own. You know, I'm not going to put like $300 into this video. Because if I did, I'd just be, you know, more upset that like I completely got shit on. Because I mean, this is, from my perspective, the reason why I did this originally was that I get to involve the community, so it's great. I mean, I get to help someone with like a real cash prize pool. And number 3, I'm also doing this to grow my channel. I mean, YouTube's a business like any other. You know, I'm trying to find ways to expand my business. You know, I'm not going to make a bunch of style videos. I'm not going to, you know, debase myself making a whole bunch of style videos. That's not me. The closest I'll get to that is doing like a weapon style video or listing stuff like that. But I'm not going to start playing dress up and make a bunch of styles. I know I'm not going to be able to touch on that community. I've already got the guide community covered. I've got the artifact community covered. I've got the ally community covered. I've got the just the basic testing and like pet results ally covered. So there's only so many things I can expand into that I haven't already been there. So the kind of contests, stuff like this and giveaways, I don't want to do a straight giveaway because then really no one wins. I mean, there's almost 19,000 of you. If I do a giveaway, only like 5 people out of 19,000 win. Where at least if I'm doing a layer contest like this, you still have to work for it. So it's not like you're just putting your name in a hat and I draw you out of a hat and say, hey, you won. This one, you control your fate. So, you control your effort that you put into it. If you really want this $150, you can spend all the time that like Caroline did, or I'm sure some of the other players did as well. You can control how much time and effort that you put into that. If you want to farm base items, if you want to, do the seasonal and stuff like that, then, that's your prerogative. So we'll see. You guys are free to leave whatever comments or opinions you want in the comment section, and we can kind of take it from there and see what the future entails for us. So take care, guys. Thanks for watching, and congratulations to the winners.